Now, this allegation about foreign currency, this lady has written about today. Uh, can you sort of, tell us what this whole thing is about and whether she's right or whether there has been some undue pressure or.
Governor, I'm particularly, with the permission of the chairman, I'm particularly asking this question we raised earlier, the profit parking story. And you were very particular when we met, I think, at the beginning of last year. And that whole idea about people who park their profit outside and do all kinds of things. Now, at this juncture, this has come as a civic voice. I mean, she's a human rights activist. I don't know the economic background, but anyway, she has the right to ask that question. I think we need to respond technically as well as morally. What is your position there? I thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think this is an important issue. Basically, a lot of people have not properly understood clearly the different issues related, but not directly. Basically, this article has a lot of misinterpretation of what is going on, some other kind of numbers that has been announced by someone else, and linking all together. So let me make it clear. So if you look at the history of these foreign exchange controls, in 1994 we liberalized the exchange control under article, what they call Article 4 liberalization. Current account transaction all liberalized, and at that point Sri Lanka is one of the countries first from 1994. Exporters were legally permitted to, if they want, retain money for their purpose abroad, or here there is no legal requirement for exporters to bring back, repatriate is one thing, conversion is the second thing. Or some other countries in the region, for India, a lot of in Malaysia, some countries they had this repatriation requirement, some countries conversion requirement, both are there. But in our case, from 1994 onwards, it was all liberalized. So legally, exporters who are exporting something, earning say $100, there is no legal requirement for them to bring that money. What usually happens when in the market-based economy, if they continue to operate, say if they earn 100, obviously if the margin is say 20%, they have to bring 80 rupees anyway. Otherwise, they have to stop the business and repatriate whole thing. On that basis, is to give the confidence. The idea is to liberalize. It was liberalized until 2016, when there was then Minister Ravi as finance minister brought back again, because this kind of situation were basically holding foreign exchange pressure. We are declining our resource, and as a result, he brought in this new regulation even under Foreign Exchange Management Act. Earlier Act was completely replaced with the Exchange Control Act was replaced with the Foreign Exchange Management Act. Under the new Act, there were no strong provisions, but even under that provision, Minister brought back repatriation. It's only repatriation requirement. It is to bring that money and they can keep that money in foreign currency accounts locally instead of keeping somewhere abroad. 180 days, within 180 days. That was the first regulation brought on the Foreign Exchange Management Act. But there was no provision. If they violate, there are no penal provisions under the new Act. It was only an announcement. Then what happened in 2021 with the foreign exchange crisis, then we were desperate to find whatever collect any foreign exchange inflow, those who are earn from the country, exports and remittances and services. That's why black market premium was developed and other things were happening, grey market was developing, all these things were happening, all the distortions. Then Central Bank, I think 2021 August, right? August introduced this, in addition to repatriation within 6 months, they have to convert also. You bring this money and convert at least certain percentage. Keep only for their import expenditure, balance should be converted. That was issued under the Monetary Act. Some provision in the Monetary Act combined, and that those issues. Under that, even though Central Bank issued that direction, because we had a long period of this relaxation, we never had the monetary mechanism. So ideal monetary mechanism would have been exports are going through customs, all the records are there, invoice value is there, then people bring money back to the banking system, and there was no reconciliation between what is going out of the customs and what is coming into the corresponding inflow. So without that, still central bank implemented that rule and trying to moral suasion by all those two means, look at numbers and say, for example, 1 billion exports, pushing exporters to ask question, okay, 1 billion you have to bring in, keep whatever is import expenditure and bring that money. But without proper monetary mechanism, no one was able to see whether they were actually complying with that. Then only after I took the office and there was a lot of pressure on that, we introduced a monetary mechanism with the customs, banking system and the central bank, and trying to reconcile what is going to the customs and look at what is brought back within 6 months and collect information on the banks based on the exporters what they declare and trying to reconcile. That reconciliation process started first on trial basis July, August, then September only we were able to fine tune some of the numbers. And that is why what we announced is September and October we were able to reconcile sector-wise, apparel exports, tea, rubber, key exporters, what was amount they exported, what was bring back, what was converted. Then our finding was that based on those 2 months data, they had repatriated 100% of export proceeds. 100% has been brought into the banking system in the country. But they had, first round, they had converted only about, on average, 25%. For example, 1 billion means they had converted into rupees 250 million. 750 million kept in the foreign currency accounts, and they used that money, they claim that they used money to pay for imports, pay for fuel, pay for local suppliers in dollars, because there is big demand for dollars. Even local suppliers to garment industry, next round, second stage payment, suppliers were asking in dollar payments, not in rupee payments, because a huge shortage in dollars. So it was very difficult to reconcile. First round we reconciled, money came in, and what was converted, what was basically kept. Then when we asked more questions, that's where our concern was that whether they are doing something with that money, and there are a lot of things going on. Sometimes exporters say 750 million, what they claim they keep. There was arrangement, exporters can arrange some of the importers also. Market rate is 360, they were selling their proceeds to some unnecessary importer for 400 rupees. And they were making money out of that. So we blocked that also. Then we blocked open account also. As a result, it was curtailed to a certain extent, but still, for example, tea exporter, if the 100 is export proceeds, still we see they bringing only converting at first round only $25 up to 100. 75 they keep it and they pay local supplier. Say from this exporter to factory owner, pay in dollars, or petroleum supply, pay in dollars. Some packaging guy, pay in dollars. So that 75 somehow second, third round they anyway convert. But difficult to trace all these things. When we inquire into a lot of information, what we find, still based on after we introduce this and so monetary mechanism, they are now saying that they bring whatever they can bring, and they also convert, but at different stages. This is what we see in the market. This is why foreign exchange situation has improved in the banking system, and there's a lot more liquidity in the banking system. Even CPC all are funded through the banking system. We don't provide anymore, and there's sufficient foreign exchange liquidity in the banking system. That works. But what these people saying, based on the statement that we made, they are quoting something else. That financial integrity report published by Washington DC somewhere else, saying that is a different issue. That's a misinvoicing, under-invoicing or over-invoicing over a long period. Say 2009 to 2016.
Now $85 billion.
No, that report says 30. From Sri Lanka, it is about 34 billion or something. No, 34 billion. They estimate. This is nothing to do with what we do now. It's two unrelated things. Whether that, obviously people know under-invoicing and over-invoicing happens when there is basically evade taxation. If you are taxation, you declare low value and pay low taxes, and then they keep money. Probably they keep their work, bring it here. That's their business. We don't know. So then they have linked up this thing with what we say now, two unrelated things. That's a misinterpretation, one thing. And other one is that why we can't do that, why we can't bring that money. No one knows whether, I mean, if there's an exporters, I don't believe this number. This
Sorry,
34 billion or whatever billion kept outside by exporters, that's...
You don't believe that?
I don't believe, because...
For?
Reason is that if exporters are doing business here, they can't keep that amount of money abroad. You see, if an exporter doing a business continuously, if for any exporter can keep money abroad, only their profit. Say $1 billion per month, or it could be say $10 billion a month, maximum maybe $2 billion. But not all exporters are keeping everything abroad now. It is depending on a factor whether you and in fact some exporters were permitted to invest abroad even earlier. Say for example, if you look at the garment factories, garment exporters, they have operations in India, Africa, everywhere. Yes, those are permitted investment outside. Now we invite foreign direct investors to come into this country. And one can say that this all investment that we are brought in here are some exporters' money. That's not fair, this thing. And also, only thing what we say, if anyone can have information, this person is illegally keeping this amount of money abroad, then there are laws and laws in the country. One can deal with that under AML CFT regulations.